Ladies and gentlemen, Will here with Garage Gym Guru once again in the Living 10 Strength Garage, and thanks again for joining me for another review, and this time it's on the Rogue Fitness Pritchett Pad. Very excited to show it to you guys, so stay tuned and watch the so you get all the tips and tricks and how this can benefit you.
So some tips and tricks for you guys, ideas that might help you a little bit. First, I'm going to show you guys the measurements of this thing. Alright, so as far as the seat goes, as far as the length of it, it's about 1 foot. So just so you know, as far as your torso, your chest, your stomach, and where you're going to be laying on this. Going across, it's roughly about 10.5 inches. Now from your actual rack, upright into the edge there, it comes out roughly about 33 inches, 32.5 to 33 inches for you. It's not very big, doesn't take up much space at all. Now, because I had the front foot plate on my rack, I was able to put a band peg here with a grip. You're going to see how this actually helps to keep the bar up so I don't have to lift it to be able to put a plate on there or to be able to put the accessories on the barbell to use it. Obviously, that grip's there just so it doesn't bang metal against metal. Here's an overall look at it. It holds on by one peg, sits on there, and has the plastic inside. Will not ruin your rack. It does have a handle right there as well that you probably won't even use, except as I will show you later on, to store it. The item is not very big at all, and it's very compact overall for what you're going to be using compared to an actual T-bar row machine. So here's the one peg that you can actually see here. You just put it in and out of whichever one you want. It places really nice, and then it sits on your rack with no problem. Obviously, it's not going to go any lower than you could put it with the bolts. So as you see here, what I did was, because I have it lifted up a little bit, I don't have to lift this bar off the ground. I can go ahead and put this piece right on with no problems. Going and grabbing a plate that I want, I'll be able to place this plate right on the barbell without having to lift it up or trying to mess with it too much. Nice and easy. Now, when you put these pieces on here, they're not going to stay up for you. You are going to have to reach over and try to grab them the best that you can. Alright guys, so an idea for storing this piece. It's not really needed, but I kind of like this. So because it's on one peg there, you can actually just lift it up. The pad goes right up against the upright, and if you just get some kind of strap, you can actually strap it right in and hold it there. Now I put it around the pad here. There's also a picture I'll show you. See, as you can see closer, there's it around the pad. But if you put it around the handle, which is what this shows, it actually holds it a lot better. And it keeps it out of the way. That way I don't have any problem getting my barbells out.
Alright folks, so let's go ahead and sum this up so you guys know exactly how I feel about this. Is it perfect? No, but do I like it? Absolutely. It takes up a lot less room than a T-bar row machine like I used to have in here. I did a review a while back on a Freight Fitness one. Fantastic piece of equipment. Takes up a lot of room though, and as you guys will see coming in the near future, kind of redesigning the whole gym in a sense. So this is just part of what I wanted to add to it. It's a brand new piece by Rogue Fitness, and I really like it. It's great. Now, I will say this doesn't have its cons, okay? when you guys go to use this, it's really independent of the size that you are. I'm 6 foot. I'm a decent sized guy, depending on who I'm standing next to. And I fit pretty well on it. I look like I'm too big for it. And I would say anybody that gets on this is gonna look too big for it because it is pretty compact. But when you get on it, you're gonna really have to decide where you want things placed right now. I have a shorter rack. My rack is an RM3, so it's not as long as a full-size rack. And I think that's what this mostly is designed for, and that's what brings the bar out exactly where you need it. So if you have a full-size rack, you should not have a problem with a regular Olympic-sized barbell. If you don't, if you have a collegiate rack, which is what I used to have until I built it out, or an RM3, something shorter than that, you might have to reposition yourself a little higher on the pad to be able to get the accessory or the piece of equipment you have on there. For the landmine to be in the right place to really get that action in your back, okay? But that's something you're gonna have to play with. Is it something I say you shouldn't get because you don't have a full-size rack? Absolutely not. I still think it works great. As you saw in the video, I did a bunch of different exercises with it with the landmine, using different pieces of equipment on there, showing how each part works with my body type. Just make sure that you get a landmine. I did try this with one of those barbell bombs. Called, and it didn't work. It slid all over the place, so that did not work. Because I wanted to bring the bar back a little bit, but that was a big fail. I put my landmine back on here from Rogue Fitness for the monster rack, and I think it works great. You could buy a smaller bar if you really needed to, maybe a 6 foot bar, and try that if you have one. If you do get this and you try that, let me know. I'm curious how it works. I just don't want to spend the money on a barbell and then it's a waste, and then I got to try to sell it or send it back. Any other cons on this? I don't really think so. Now, some big time pros on this. I love the fact that, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that looked at this thing and thought, wow, you could store this really easy because it's only by 1 pin. That is a plus to me, and I know Rogue does not show that, and I think that they should because it really keeps it out of the way. Not that it takes up too much room, but it just allows you to put it up and it's kind of out of the way for you. I would like to see them make something that maybe would attach inside these 1-inch holes that would actually be able to hold it up. I think that would be a great accessory that they could sell with this. I would love to see some kind of foot plate for it. Maybe brings your feet up a little higher. That's going to be a tough one because of where the bar lays as far as for your landmine. I don't know how they really would design that, but I'm sure with their geniuses there, they'd figure something out. I even think if they could design something that maybe hooks here and goes back a little bit that you could put your feet on to make yourself more like, almost like a seal row in a sense, or just something where your feet are propped up and you can give yourself a little more room. Because the other problem that I'm finding is that if you have this piece too far low on your upright, then depending on what accessory you're using on the bar, it might end up hitting the bottom of the pad. So you have to keep it up enough to where that accessory is not going to hit, and that just depends on what you're going to use it with. If you're going to use, like I showed you in the video, 2 separate pieces, you're not going to have that problem because your plate should be on the outside of that accessory anyway, and it should not be hitting the pad, but the accessory might, depending on what you're using. So that's where you're going to have to kind of play with it a little bit. So do I think this is a great piece of equipment for you to get? For me, it is. For you, I don't know what your gym is like. If you want something that supports your back or support, a chest supported row, because you don't like doing normal, traditional bent over rows because of your back, I would highly suggest this. Because of my back issues, I can't do a normal bent over row with heavier weight because it kills my back. With this, yeah, you could, you use this with your landmine. It allows me to use the heavier weight. I know some of you are probably thinking, why didn't I show how to use it with dumbbells or a barbell? I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Personally, I will not be using this with a regular barbell to do bent over rows in this fashion. I will only be using this for my landmine. As far as barbells go, you could do it. I think it's gonna be a little awkward for you to have to pick it up and be able to do that, and then you have to then drop it back on the ground because it's gonna be a little tough to kind of maneuver it because you don't have anything to place your barbell on to put the plates on and put it back on again, because of how it's placed out into kind of like in the middle of the floor. As far as dumbbells go, I'm not gonna really use it for that because I'm gonna show you a picture right here. That's what I use. I have a Versa Spot. I put my dumbbells on the Versa Spot. I can do any of those spider curls. I can do lat flies or back flies. I can do anything on there with the Versa Spot and my bench. So for me, I will not be using it for this. But yes, you can do any of the exercises you want to. You just got to keep in mind that when you're done with the exercise, you're either going to drop the dumbbells, put them on a bench, put them on a box, whatever you're going to use, or stand back up with those dumbbells. And depending on how heavy they are, that might be kind of a problem for you. I don't want to have to do that, so I use my Versa Spot. I don't think you can purchase a Versa Spot anymore, but if you look on different websites like Crandall Fitness, Titan Fitness, they have kind of the same thing, but it's 2 pieces instead of 1. The Versa Spot's nice because it's low profile and you can put it as low as you want. So, in conclusion, I'm trying to think if there's anything that I forgot here. Overall, check this piece of equipment out. I hope you enjoyed this video because I really enjoy this piece. It's nice to be able to do this again because I actually went without my T-bar row for probably 3 weeks before this came in, and I really miss those exercises. I love doing T-bar rows and stuff like that, and just rows in general, so I think it's great. So if you guys have any questions, please put it in the comments. If you have any comments, also like, share this video. I'm trying to get this thing to 1,000 views, not 1,000 views, 1,000 subscribers. Finally, I know I had to take a year off, but please share this video with other people. Hopefully this video will help you. Anyway, other than that, guys, I appreciate you joining me, and as always, live like a 10.